Good afternoon, Dr. Sharma, and welcome once again to another session on mental health.
Good afternoon, Dr. Vasconcelos. Good to be back with you.
Doc, in continuing with our series on communication, can you please elaborate a little bit about oppositional conversation style?
Yes, Doc. So we've been talking last time about the communication with people who are oppositional, and the style that they choose is usually one that is of defiance. So if you're saying, well, can you do this particular way for me? They will oppose that and say, well, I don't think that's the right way. I think the way that I'm doing it is a better way. You see that sort of communication more with adults, whereas children with the disorder called oppositional disorder or oppositional defiant disorder, they also have that style where they will actually say, no, I'm not doing it. And they will defy you, they defy authority. So they defy authority in class, by parents, and so on. So I think that's a big style of the communication that they use. The saying no to what you ask them to do, or saying that their way is better. You actually say, can you do this presentation for me, prepare it in this particular way? They'll say, no, I don't think your way is right. I'm going to do it my way. And they may be even speaking to somebody who is their superior or their boss, in that kind of manner. So it's a pattern of behavior that creates tension and conflict. So it's not a very healthy way for a relationship to be formed if it's in a work setting, or you see it in a relationship setting at homes where child may be defiant to the parent, or you see it in a relationship at home between the husband and wife or partners in a relationship. So it's not going to engender good feelings. It's going to create a sense of temperedness by both parties and end up in a state of conflict.
Well, Doc, based on what you're saying, if one party sees the glass half full, the oppositional person will see it as half empty, and vice versa. The question is, how would you differentiate the oppositional style versus someone who's always negative or pessimistic?
Right. So you're actually describing the negativity that people have in another type of behavior where people are pessimistic. So the persons who tend to see the glass half full, half empty, sorry, are the ones who are negative. So they're not seeing hope, they're not seeing optimism, they're not seeing anything bright in the future. For them, the COVID crisis is a death sentence. The world is going to end. We're going to move to a different life. We better get off the planet. So there's this run, escape mentality with those people. The oppositional defiant people tend to be sort of into conflict, into aggressiveness that may even be passive at some level, but it's still hostility is very much on the line, that the person is not cooperative. So there's a sense of irritability, maybe a sense of discord is probably the best way, that they absolutely refuse to see the light. They're so stuck in their own opinion or their own sense of value or worth. It's almost like a delusional state, those people who are oppositional. That maybe, for example, an entire country may be against an individual that's in leadership and say, well, this is not right, and they're opposing that. They may be opposing international viewpoints. I am the only one that has the right point of view. And that's the oppositional kind of individual. They cannot see the truth. And how do you help somebody like that? It's very hard. you probably have to go to Dr. Vasco and so and pray for them. Say, can we get you to see the light? We talked the last time about how can we communicate with that person so that we don't foster uh, anger and end up in a situation of severe conflict. But with the negative persons, we're seeing people who have a very dim view of things around them. And that may be coming from the way that they've been brought up by parents who don't have a positive outlook. And they develop that sense of doom gloom. And they may have a very good life and see, things are going well for them. And yet take up a viewpoint that something really bad is going to happen. Like it's going to all end this lot of negativity. We say there's a personality that is attached to that type, which we call the D personality. The type A personality is that person who's on the go, high achieving, very motivated, prone to coronary problems because they can push themselves too far. They get very irritable easily. They don't like to be contradicted. And we know those type of persons. They can be more oppositional, and they're putting themselves at risk for heart problems. Type A. And the type B is more laid back and placid and accepting everything that happens. So they're not at risk for heart attacks. They're at risk for not making progress. So we got the type D now, which is described by the American Cardiovascular Association. And they actually talked about type D being the depressive personality type, where they see everything in a negative viewpoint. And they're more prone to also cardiac problems because that negativity affects the body's immune system. So we know people who are positive, they can take on the ill health as a challenge. They tend to do much better than people who see their ill health in a defeatist way. They see it as an enemy, a punishment, and they feel like, well, I'm not going to get out of this. And they probably wouldn't get out of it because the body reacts really bad. The American Cardiology Association is taking this study on because they look at types of behavior patterns that affect people when they're recovering from heart attacks, and to see that people with this negative, pessimistic attitude do very poorly when they suffer heart attacks compared to somebody whose outlook is more positive. So it's good to know the types. I'm glad you asked that question, and hopefully we can help people who are having those negative type of personality styles to change, because they can change. It's a matter of now saying, no, it's not going to all fall down, fall apart. My heart attack should be a wake-up call, not a death sentence. You see my point? That person, if they take it as a death sentence, I cannot function anymore, I cannot have activity, sexual activity, my wife, I'm going to get another heart attack, can retrain those thoughts. So that's not going to happen. You're going to be much more healthy. You're going to make changes in your behavior and your lifestyle that would lead to better health. So with a positive attitude, people can actually fight better against illnesses, even cancers or cancers that cause immune dysfunction and immune dysfunction illnesses.
Well, Doc, I think it's fair to say that it is so important for people to get the proper advice from the proper individuals like yourself. We are living in times where people go on Google or YouTube and they have individuals speaking as experts and they are not. And so we thank God for you in the area of mental health. And so we just pray that you continue to impact lives, to let people know there is help. You can reach out for help no matter what situation you're in. There is always help. And so thank you very much. Any final thoughts?
I really like what you're saying there, that even when situations are so hopeless that somebody may not even have much time left to live, that there still can be something positive. Something can happen that makes the time that we have in this life valuable. So I think the message that I'm hearing from you two is that we should value every moment of our life. Every moment is of great value. And not think that, okay, tomorrow I'll make the change or maybe in 10 years' time. Let us start having that change of mindset from now. And with a better attitude, we can make a better life for ourselves, a better life for the people that we interact with, a better world in the long term. We see too much negativity. The world thrives on negativity. My daughter in New York, she's so wonderful. She says, "Oh, Dad, it's all negativity because people prefer negativity. They prefer to listen to a newscast that is all about gloom, doom, than hear something that's positive and enlightening, you know. And that's the way it goes, and it's a strange phenomenon. And there's a name for that. Maybe we'll look at how we can change the negativity in the world around us, making that change from within ourselves first, and then trying to affect that change to other people.
Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. God bless you. And until the next session, you stay safe.
Thank you, Doc. You too.